Welcome back, guys, to another episode of GasCanCo on YouTube. Christian Spaulding here. So for this week, we have quite the interesting build. We have an Acura RSX, or at least what used to be an Acura RSX, brought out by Carl Fox. So before we get into that and show you this week's video, I do want to let you know that the contest from last week's video is still going. So don't forget to submit your artwork to us at GasCanCo@gmail.com. We will be picking the winner shortly and let you guys know. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions regarding that. Just hit us up on the Facebook group or anything like that, even Instagram. But thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you check out our merch on GasCanCo.com. Cue the intro. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of GasCanCo on YouTube. Christian Spaulding here. Today we got Mr. Carl Fox and his Acura RSX. So real quick, Carl, if you want to let people know a little about yourself, where you're from.
Hey guys, my name's Carl. I'm from the tri-state area, grew up in West Virginia, and now I live in Kentucky. Thought I'd bring out my my junk box Acura out. A lot of stories behind this car, and I get a lot of questions on it on a daily basis. So I thought I'd bring it out and show you guys and answer a few questions from Christian.
All right, well, we're definitely glad to have you today, man. So first things first, let's hear what year's the car.
It's 2004 Acura RSX. It's a base automatic with the premium package. So I got some leather in there.
With the premium package.
Yeah.
So was it always a Mad Max style car? Were you always going for the rat rod thing, or?
That's the sad part of it. That's the sad part of it is I bought it. It's been 10, maybe 11 years ago, and I bought it from one owner. Car was bone stock, absolutely great condition. Had 198,000 miles on it when I bought it, right. But it was beautiful. And from there on out, it unfortunately went through my younger years of being more of a ricer and more careless with my part selection.
Right. So eBay parts, body kits, LEDs,
100%. The plastic dip. Don't forget the plastic dip. Which I love plastic dip. That'll always have a soft spot for me. But yeah, she saw about every collar under the sun and every color of spray paint that you could imagine. Every body kit, all the neon lights. And it only had probably 150 horsepower behind all that.
So now it's got less with the big tires.
That's it exactly. That is it exactly.
So what made you want to go down the Mad Max rat rod direction, especially with an import of all things?
Right. My bank account. First and foremost, I love rat rods. I love the old Model A's, the old Model T's, you know, chop tops and all that. And, you know, I've had this car for years, and it's looked great throughout some of the years. It's had some good moments in her life. But, which Andrew still of all people, I can give thanks for getting me into the RSXs back when he had his. I think his was an 02 Type S. But he's the one that actually got me started into the RSXs. But as far as the Mad Max theme, the whole rat rod thing, when I met my fiance Jasmine, who actually had an RSX as well, she was in Maryland, excuse me, and she brought her car down when she moved down here. Well, shortly thereafter, she got rear-ended. Okay, well, that sucks. We were able to buy the car back from insurance and keep it as a parts car, and then we were on the hunt for her for another RSX. And our buddy, Michael Huffman, had his bone stock Type S A-Spec for sale down in Grayson.
Right.
So we went down there, checked it out. It was a diamond in the rough. It wasn't too cosmetically pleasing, but everything was there and everything worked great. Right. So he gave us a very fair deal on it. We picked it up, brought it back, started working on it, and we'll get to that car later on. But when I took that car over from Jasmine, bless her heart, it slowly got all the good parts off of this. It got like the carbon spoiler, the carbon hood, all the good parts off of this car went onto that one because, again, it was a Type S.
Right, and it was just overall in better shape at that
point.
So as far as like a base for like a nice car, that one turned into the nice car.
That was the good build. And so with this one, it was already suffering the quarter panel damage, just having it as a daily for 10 years and constant tinkering on it and carelessness. The body and chassis were starting to show a little bit of wear. And I don't know why, but I got bored. A lot of people ask me about the fender.
Right.
Well, what's left of the fender down at the bottom is actually off of Huffman's car. That was all that was salvageable on that fender. So when I swapped fenders, I thought it'd be fun to do a little rat rod tease to it just for shiggles. And then it kind of spiraled out of control from there. Then it got the bumper. Then the hood was thrown on. I traded, I had a really nice hood, OEM one, and I traded a friend of mine for it. Threw his on there because it was rusty. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I was like, well, if I'm going to build a rat rod, you know, the first thing you think of is slamming it. You want it, you know, just on the ground. Static wheels are up by the windows, like in the old Model A's and stuff, Model T's. I was
So
like,
what made you decide to lift this one of all things?
well, just that, practicality. Jasmine, she's got a little slam taggy, the RSX, the one that we were just referring to. It's not slammed, but it's lowered. It's really lowered. And then she has her GLI. So we don't really have anything practical. So if I was to slam this, I was like, well, I'm going to lose a lot of practicality, I guess.
So what about like stock ride height, for example? I mean, these cars aren't super low from the factory, so what made you put like the oversized tires and the spacers on it? It was more for fun.
That was TJ's doings, because I wanted to get that shock and awe factor out of it. After I did the fender, the hood, the bumper, stuff like that, we were like, well, what else could we do to get that same shock and awe going out down the street? You know, I don't want the car to just look like just another junk car going down the street. I want it to actually look purposeful. Right. And he came up with the whole, well, why don't you lift it? I've got some tires. Well, how much do you want for those tires? Can we make them fit? He goes, I don't know. Well, we can try.
And it went from there.
Nobody else out there, at the time that we were doing it, I had lifted an RSX. So I did some research and found out that the underpinnings are almost identical to that of an Element or a CRV. Well, they've been lifting those for years.
Yeah, it's just mostly just blocks and spacers and stuff.
Exactly. So TJ was gracious enough to hook up we did spacers in the rear. There were 2.5 spacers in the rear. And he CNC'd those out for me. And then for the front, we had to use, I think it was 1/4-inch steel to do the brackets for the McPherson struts. And he hooked me up on all that. I don't do suspension stuff, so I was really at his mercy. Right. So, I mean, aside from the sketchy suspension, she also has 1.25-inch spacers all the way around, too. So, we're just a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, just for that shock and awe.
We're just a ticking time bomb going down the road. But everything else, man, I just have fun with.
Right, so this is like the definition of a DIY project car. Oh, you know, my fender's bad. Don't go to the junkyard, make a fender.
Exactly.
Like, the hood's looking a little rough. Let's cut the top off and, you know, just let it show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure on the other side, you guys can't see it just yet, but on the other side, there's like a wire mesh where rear glass would be. And
why? Because
it fits the theme.
There is I got like a bear tap shift knob in it. The whole console's ripped out. It's no carpet. There's no audio system in it. There's one amp that has an aux cord to my phone, and that's it. I've got it's one of those old bazooka tubes, dressed up as a NOS bottle, which unfortunately a lot of people fall for that.
They sold those back in the day.
They did, and I could not find one because they are such one of those OG collector pieces.
Oh yeah, those were out 15 years ago.
Like, yeah, if you find one of those, you're paying for it. And I was like, well, you know, let's just go to Lowe's and, you know, get some. Let's just make it. So, but yeah.
So from there, like, what are your plans with the car? So, like, I asked that not in a way of like, oh, I'm going to cut the door skin off next. Not like something like that, but like, do you think you'll get tired of it and go to a different trend? Do you think you might rat rod it more and lower it? Like,
I honestly, I love the race because it is so fun. You just get in it. You know, here in the tri-state, we went through a huge ice storm. Car did awesome. And it is just front wheel drive. It is just an RSX lifted. That's all it is. Did great. Plans for it? It is kind of on the back burner right now with all the other projects at the house. And it's nice just to get in and just drive an automatic you don't have to worry about tiptoeing all over the road and stuff. I'm not opposed at all to slamming it on the ground. If I come across another vehicle to add to our arsenal where, you know, like a truck or something, I'm not at all opposed to just dropping it on the ground, static, you know.
Cutting fenders more than that.
Yeah. But I'm not opposed to raising it. I would like to get a set of the old, like, soft 8 or soft D wheels to kind of pull them out just a little bit. Right. I don't want that Mexi flush look, but I like just a little bit of poke for meatiness.
Gotcha.
But I mean, yeah, just go with the flow.
Yeah, it really depends on the future, but for now it's still going to be mostly a daily that you just drive and nothing about.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that.
I mean,
Next question, the big one. With this car, and like you said, you've had this thing for 11 years now.
Mm-hmm.
If you could think back to like your favorite memory with this car, what's that memory going to be?
My favorite memory with this car, dude, that is a hard one.
It could be like a top three, you know,
right.
just a notable, like mentioning.
I don't know if I can narrow it down to just one. I mean, I've met all of my friends through it. Pretty much everything that I've learned how to work on an automobile has been learned on this car. I've raced in it, you know, when you're young, naive, and you're 22, 23 years old, you'll race anything. I would have to say, there was a time we were headed out to an undisclosed location, probably, I don't know, it's probably been 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, whenever. Down in Ashland, give or take a few years. And we'd all met up at Fat Patty's down on Winchester Avenue. And we were all headed out to this undisclosed location for some night racing. And at the time, the car was white and it had all the Honda Integra badges on it,
Right.
which a lot of people give me down the road for. I'm a purist, and that's all that is. There's nothing behind it. It's just one of those things where, you know, it'd be like somebody bringing a Holden up here.
Yeah, it's no different than those people putting Holden badges on G8s and stuff. It happens all the time. Like,
That's exactly what it is. And but anyway, so I mean, it was pretty much looking OEM at that point with all the Honda badges on it, and it was white. Well, I was dumb and I pulled a U-turn in Winchester right in front of a cop. So he pulled me over, and it was later at night, and he gave me down the road one side and the other, threatened to impound the vehicle and everything because he thought I was doing something very shady. When I hand him my registration and it says it's a black Acura RSX, and yet he's looking at a white Honda Integra, you know, and I don't expect everybody to know that kind of stuff.
Look, the VIN's the same. That's all.
Right. So I mean, but that was a pretty good one, and of course everybody, all the boys sitting at Fat still got a good laugh out of it and everything. So I mean, there was that. But yeah, man, I couldn't just narrow it down to just one memory. I mean, there was plenty of races. I mean, I don't know how good you can race in a 150 horsepower Honda that were pretty comical at the time. There was a certain somebody that I raced in an HHR, and looking back, you're just like, really? You were proud of beating an HHR? Like, really?
That was a riddle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
Gotcha.
But I couldn't narrow it down, man. Do I plan on getting rid of it? No. It'll be in the backyard until it's
forever, right? Until it's part of the land.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right, well, I definitely appreciate the insight on the car. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank Carl again for coming out with us today. We're going to go get you guys some footage. So remember to tune in, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.